Hey everyone, this is Second Sight Tarot, a branch of wellness. I'm here to do the monthly reading for Pisces for the month of April 2021. I've already meditated on the cards. Please remember that this is a general reading and it may not resonate with everyone, so please take what does and leave the rest. So let's get into it. While I was meditating, I saw a bunch, like a cluster of quartz crystals. I don't always get visions like that, but I thought that was interesting, so I don't know if that's something to maybe sit with for the month, or use that crystal for the month of April. Pulling a lot of cards out here. So I'm just going to do this. I use a lot of Oracle cards and Tarot mixed. As if you watched my last month reading, I do the element spread. So it's current situation, the emotion, or how you can connect through intellect and communication, the emotions that could come up or that you can connect with, and then how you move through or towards the outcome. So I'm just going to pull a couple more cards and then we can start the reading. I see for some of you, it could be self-growth or self-love, something that you're working on to connect with really loving yourself unconditionally. I see, like, across the board a common theme with all of the readings so far. Even last month, like, there was a common theme with all of them of self-reflection and self-growth. And I think now is a continuation of that, but a little, like, a deeper level of it. So, the bottom of the deck, the Fool. So, I think these are spirit song. So the Fool is all about your self-belief, a new journey, you know, going in blindly, just being carefree, starting a new journey with, or an adventure and having a lot of potential there. And the Wheel of Fortune, or the Wheel, which is a lot about possibilities and change. What number is this? Oh yeah, number 10. So 10s are all about, like, completing something or reaching a goal of some sort. So there is a lot of change and possibilities, but you're also evolving and having a lot of new opportunities. So maybe something's coming into completion and you're moving forward into the next step. And with the Full energy of moving, you know, going under, like, this new territory, that's a really beautiful energy to be in. So we'll pick it apart a little bit, and then I'm going to pull some clarifiers along the way. I am going to do one more set, actually a couple of them, but in the current situation you have, I'm going to flip them, but I am going to read them somewhat in the reversal. You have the Hunger, you have Surrender, and then you have Love. This could be a partnership. And this is the current situation of you being in a partnership and having, like, you know, building this trust, or really looking for somebody right now. Maybe you're like, you're hungry for love. It could be self-love or a love from an intimate partner. And it's about kind of giving up the control and kind of surrendering. This is the Surrender card. Surrendering to the possibilities and just leaving it up to faith, I guess. It doesn't have to be religious beliefs, but just kind of leaving it up to the universe to guide you where you're supposed to go. Or maybe this is kind of a new relationship that way. The Hunger card. So you're definitely, I don't want to say, like, copy the card, but hungry for something new. But I do think that there's, like, this deep need or your readiness, I want to say, for something more with connection and stuff. But this also could be self-love for a lot of people. It's all about choice and trust, the Love card. This is also about overcoming obstacles and perseverance with love. So it could be a current relationship that you're in, and things are shifting. There's a choice that you might have to make about whether you want to stay or go, or a choice of something that needs to be shifted. Maybe there's trust issues there, or maybe going into it thinking that there are issues, but there isn't, and maybe having more trust in the relationship to come, or current relationship, or more trust in yourself to love yourself more. But we'll clarify a little bit in that. So please, transformation. I do feel like this interesting instinctual energy here, like this wild side of you, like that just like is going in carefree in a sense, or wants to do that. It's more like this deep-seated instinctual need or want. And you got the heart card, emotions and intuition, and this is all about going in with the heart and less in the mind, going with your intuition of how you feel something. And it is instinctual, because that is about your instincts. It is about using intuition. But going in with the heart in all elements of life, like not allowing the mind to dictate if something's good or bad, or making the decision for you. Really, really listening to your inner self, your inner wisdom, to realize like with what you're looking for, the potential that you're looking for, or that you have. So I think that's a really beautiful energy to have. I don't know. I love this because it's a lot of new energy. It's a lot of fire energy, and it's very passionate. But it comes from very deep. This is not like a superficial thing just for lust, or maybe you are craving that. But I think this, for most of you, this is more about like really deep-seated love on either end, whether it's with self or with somebody else, and finding ways, or like really allowing the universe to take control, or to like, or you're asking for this, and this is what you're putting out into the universe. Kind of a cry out for, like, not in a sad way, but just like, you know, a call out for asking for what you want, whether that's inner growth or someone to come to you. Change, yeah. And the eight of, is this the eight? This is the 10 of Pentacles. So there's another 10 there, and it's all about completion, reaching a goal. This is a lot of abundance, and it is about change. You know, there's a shift here. There's something coming to an end for something else to start. And going in with the Fool, like going in blindly, going in like innocently, and you know, and not allowing anything to kind of stand in your way. You're going in free-spirited. But this is abundance, and maybe you are feeling abundant in a certain way, and now you want something deeper or something more. That's kind of what I was feeling with this. It's like it's much deeper than just like just finding somebody to kill time with, or like a possible lust interest. This is deep-seated love for yourself or for someone else, which is really beautiful. So I'm going to pull a couple clarity cards on some of the cards, and then we'll move on, and then I'll come back to it. So surrender here, please, for Pisces, April 2021. So Rise Up, this is Rise Up, it's a song, but Rise is about coming out from the darkness, or like more of a shadowy aspect, like coming out from the dark, you know, coming out of the closet. No pun intended, but coming out and just realizing like I'm finally seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, you know. And I think that is about completion here. You know, you've come up to this halt, and you're like, okay, I've done this. Now I want to start something new in a different way. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here. And this was for Surrender and Hunger. So I'm sorry. So I do think that you've done some work, or you've been asking for a long time, and now something is being shifted. You know, there's something manifesting. The Dreamer, this could mean two things. This could be staying in the dream state and kind of not, like almost like a daydream all the time, and not really moving forward with what you really want, or because you're stuck in the daydream. Or it could be, you know, like you're dreaming big for something bigger, and you're putting the call out. And that's kind of what I think for the majority of you. It could be for some of you the other way, but I think right now it's about, you know, dreaming big, really calling out the things that you really want to manifest, and having the universe hear that, so you can get the things that you're wanting, you know, which is self-love or true love, or even it could be just companions and friendship. It doesn't have to be an intimate lover with yourself, although I think the majority is. It could just be like, you know, connection with people and on a deeper level, realizing like, you know, what you want out of relationships and really finally putting that to action, you know. So I think that's really beautiful. And I think it's a good space to be in. It's almost like a clean slate, but with like knowledge and tools and experience to go underneath that. So it's a really nice place to be in. In the how you deal with things through intellect and communication, you have the gratitude in reverse. This is through communication, so maybe there's some stagnation of how you deliver or how you call out gratitude. Like maybe you need to speak it more or write a list of things that you're grateful for and have it in the forefront just to see it in your face day to day and be more grateful day to day. Or being more grateful for someone in particularly. Like this woman's looking at somebody hold hands, you know, being grateful for your relationships or your love, but literally articulating them and communicating them is key here. So maybe you do feel this way, but releasing them and having other people hear that, maybe that you'll be a little bit more grateful day to day, but also people feel like they are, that you are grateful for them too. It's kind of what I'm feeling for that. You have a lot of change. This is the second change card. So this could be, maybe you are starting to communicate in a different way, or even just verbalizing the things that you need to release. And this is kind of where some people might be right now, change. And just remember, like she's could be either she's leaning on an egg or pushing into an egg, and she can be either resisting it or she can be pushing off to be free from it and to go with the flow of change. So really sit with yourself. I invite you to sit with yourself and see if that's something that goes with you on either end. Like, are you resisting shifting into something new out of fear or not seeing it maybe? Or are you pushing off to kind of go with the flow and set yourself free from something? And this has a lot to do with communication, because it's in the position of communication, or even just intellect, like how you process it, how you process this, and what your body is hearing you say, what you're hearing yourself say. So just maybe checking in to see where you are with that. And if you're maybe writing a gratitude list, and kind of sitting with things that are you resisting, or are you going with the flow? It's a good way to see where you're stagnant. So the Queen of Feathers are air, so it's the Queen of Swords. Couldn't get it out. This is all about trust or truth and perception, and the Queen, and also having patience within that. So this is about in your communication position. So I think it is about seeing things, like physically being observant where you are and how you're perceiving things, you know, like especially with the things that come out of your mouth and what you hear people say, you know, really sitting with it and saying, like, you know, is this my truth? Are you assessing the situation? Are you, like, you know, being discerning with things that are coming in, information coming in? Is this your truth? It might be somebody's truth, but is it your truth? You know, and if it's not, then maybe sitting there and analyzing, like really looking into that perception and seeing if there's something that you can take that's valuable to you or truth to you, or shifting it in a way that works with you, you know, and how you can articulate it and how you can process it. But I see a lot of like having patience with yourself in this process, but also not holding yourself back from releasing something that needs to come out or hearing something in a different way. So it's also inviting you to do that. And then the Three of Acorns, which is the Three of Fire Wands, the Three of Wands. This is about foresight and exploration. You know, like I do see something, adventure. There's like this adventure aspect to this or component to this about how I think you are starting to be adventurous or looking at being adventurous with the way you communicate and the way you perceive things, looking at things in a different way maybe, and going with your intuition more about things. You know, sorry, I was going to show you the card. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. And I'm going to pull some clarity cards on that. This is for intellect and communication for Pisces. Interesting. As I speak of, you know, going in a current situation, you're using your intuition to guide you more than your head. Now in the intellect and communication is dealing with logic and evolution, like really going in your head here. So moving through a situation to get where you want to go or where you want to start, using your intuition is key there. But once you get up to that point of like, okay, I've got this started now. How do I articulate it? How do I perceive things? Like, what am I hearing? What am I saying? And what am I doing? Like, how is that going inside my body? How am I processing this? And this is where the head comes in. So once you have this push from of inspiration from your intuition and emotional, you know, like sorting out something and really getting a grasp on it, now you're using your head and not so much your heart to work through something, to articulate it, because you need the knowledge. You have the knowledge in your mind to like create things, how verbally say something. So that's what I'm seeing here. So it's interesting that you have both, because I don't know if I've ever had both coming out one after another, but it makes sense in your current situation. You're going through a shift and a change. You're calling out what you are wanting. You're putting it out there to the universe. And that has to come from your emotional stability or your emotional sense and your intuition, because it's coming from within. Now that you have that, you've grasped it. Now you're using your head and your logic to sort things out, to articulate it, and to communicate this out to yourself and to people around you. So it makes sense. What else? Oh, I was going to clarify. So I'm just going to clarify a couple. I'm going to do the head, clear the head card. Yeah, I think that so far, like, you're blossoming right now. But I also think, and this is with the head card, the mind, of like really don't stay in the mind too long, because it has kept you down. It has like kept you stuck. You have the bound card, but this is yourself doing this to you. Like, maybe the mind has kept you trapped and kept you from really expanding and growing outward and moving through something. Actually, it's kept you from blossoming, honestly. You know, it's kind of like a prison in your own world of like your mind constantly racing and maybe not seeing gratitude, not seeing that there's a shift happening or a way to move through it, and feeling stuck a little bit. Maybe. And it is all about perception. So, yeah, I think that you're a little stuck from blossoming because you're too much in your head. So for some of you, you need to be in the headspace here to create this expression, to say the least. But I do think that it's going to hold you back a little bit if you stay too much in there. So maybe the reason why both of these cards, the heart and the head, are coming out is to have a fine balance between the two. And I say that across the board every time I get one or the other. But the fact that they came both out at the same time, it invites you to have like a fine balance between your intuition, your emotions, and how you articulate that. And, you know, really going inward to figure out what's going on and like assess it and sort it out in the mind. So maybe it's fine balance between the two and less headspace and more balance between the two. So that's kind of what I'm getting from that. Change, please. You have rise again. So the change, I think, is it's going to still be in this space. So you got rise with surrender and the hunter, and you have the world too. And I think that you know, you might feel that there's a possibility I think there is possibility to have everything that you want, to have like this come out in a very positive way for you. But it's maybe there's some acknowledgement, and the perception, I think, comes a bit like, what is truth to you? You know, like, what is your inner truth of things that are going to make you really happy? And that's probably why there's some pushback here, or like just starting off. Maybe some of you are pushing off this and some of you are resisting it. Or maybe it's just very new because you're not used to change, and a lot of us aren't. But maybe because it's so new and you have done a lot of this heavier work and been in this heavier space for a while, that that's why this is coming up. because you're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And maybe that's what's causing the change. But just, I just invite you to stay to trust and to stay true to your calling or what you're really looking for, and just have a clear picture and just articulate things in a very clear, precise way, to keep you on the path that you're on. That's kind of what's coming to me. So I'm going to do the Three of Wands, just to clarify that a little bit. I do think that things are coming up, for you, and you're finally getting to the space where it's like you're exploring, you're being adventurous, you're thinking outside of your box, you're like really, you're cutting out of the weeds, you're like peeking your head out and seeing the bigger picture of things, and it's all new and exciting. And this can be just one situation. Yeah, and you're having hope, like the hope card came out. I just think that you have hope for a different outcome or future right now, and you're like hopeful, and it's a very young. I'm surprised at the well, it did come in the Fool, but it's kind of like that kind of energy I'm getting. It's like you're seeing things in a very new way, and it's kind of exciting, and you're exploring and you're seeing things just differently, and it's fun. I just see this as exciting, scary, and fun all at the same time. That's kind of what energy I'm getting here. I'm going to just do one of these. It's calling me. And then we can go. Okay, here we go. I just said the Fool. The Health card in this deck. This is also a 1, but it's also a child. To me, it's like both. I always say this is both like the Fool and the Magician all at once, but it's more a magician. And this is all about exploring, creating, and you're kind of in training here, and now you're creating this big shift. Like you can manifest anything that you want to manifest. And this is all about health, like health of the mind, since it's in this position of the intellect and communication. You're finding healthy boundaries now. You're finding healthier ways to be as an expression. Some of you might be doing like different things like body-wise, like getting in shape and eating healthier, but this is more about being healthier, about delivering the way you articulate things, or just, I don't know, excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of water. It's so interesting. Excuse me. The only time I ever choke on any readings is in the communication position. Gathering my thoughts. Excuse me. I see like this offering. You're kind of putting your heart out in a different way now. Kind of wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's so interesting every time it's in this position. I can't have, maybe it's because you're having a hard time speaking or bringing something out, and that's why I'm choking, but I think that's interesting. So maybe pay attention to that, because there's a reason for this. And like I said, this has happened 2 other times in this position with other readings, so I think it's interesting, and I apologize for choking. I'm going to do one more here. Or 5 more. They like to pop out. Yeah, so the Death card, you're definitely going through a transformation. There's a completion of some sort, and now you're starting fresh, something new. And that's why I see the Magician there. And you had the Fool, because there's this new energy happening. You're like manifesting something new. And there's the Travel card. Some of you might be traveling, but I think this to me is more about expanding your horizon with the way you do things now in this position. That's kind of what I'm getting from here. And there's a Sun in here too. And you got the Sun card. So it's all about nurturing, growth, healing, it's the happiest card in the deck. So I do think there's like a lot of great things happening for you, and your ultimate goal is to be happier. And I think that's going to definitely happen, just from what I'm seeing here. But it's also a very healing time for you right now. A lot of growth. And don't miss the journey. That's kind of what I'm getting with this travel card. Don't miss the journey in all of this. Don't just like focus on the goal, because the learning and the lessons are in the journey, not so much the end result. So that's what I'm getting from this card here. So you're definitely going through a transformation. You have a lot of growth and healing going on, with a lot of happiness in the end. But enjoy the journey. It's really important that you do that, because that's where all of your learnings will be and your great lessons. So yeah, so let's move on to, this is emotions, or what emotions you can connect with or pay attention to, or just connect to emotions and maybe see what is there that you need to be focusing on or paying attention to. And you have self-reflection. Self-reflection's, obviously for self-reflection, really looking at both sides of things, your side and other people's side, and I always invite people with this card to really look at themselves on a deeper level. Like, would you be your friend? Would you be your lover? Would you listen to you if you were giving advice to someone? Really analyzing things. And I'm not saying to judge yourself or to break things down in categories of judgment, but just to see if there's something there that you feel that you need to maybe shift, or clear up in some sort. And this is in the emotion category. So category, I always say that, emotion position. So I think there is a deep focus of emotional growth too. This is also inviting you to have to go inward and really connect with your emotions, and to not just to have a thought or an emotion come up and then bury it down, to really sit with it, bring it out, and really, try to work through it so it doesn't keep coming up for you, and it makes space for something new. You're on this new path right now, and excuse me, and I just feel like it's asking you to clean out the closet in a sense with emotions, things that don't serve you anymore, old things that are trapped in your body that you've already felt like you've dealt with. It's asking you to kind of clean the closet out a little bit. This is the Six of Acorns, Six of Wands, and this is all about your triumph and success. There is a lot of charging, going, moving, soul work going on here. And I just see you kind of standing in your pride a little bit, wow, I've done so much stuff, and I feel good, You're feeling good where you are, and you should. You've done a lot of work already in this position of, working with emotions and stuff. I think now it's just about peeling the layer to go a little deeper, and see what else you can release and come up. It's kind of like another level now. You've completed this level, and now you're moving up. You're stepping up to another level of growth and healing and transition. So yeah, it's a beautiful card. And then you have transformation, transition, and liberation. So transformation is the Death card again, and the Death card is all about, it could be it's in reverse. So I feel like you've gotten to the point where I think negative blocks have kept you there, in the mind, in the head, where we were talking about, self-doubt and negative blocks, negative talk to yourself. And that's what I was inviting you not to do, to find more of a balance of intuition and mind at the same time. But I think that maybe there's some stagnation there, or some more work that needs to be done, because you are in the middle of a transformation, but maybe you need to do a little bit more self-reflection in this category, or it's going to take a little bit more time. I feel like I'm kind of sensing a stagnation here, or kind of a resistance in a sense. Because I do feel like you feel good about where you are right now, and you're standing in your power in a sense. But then I still feel like there's some there's still things, another layer that needs to happen before you can have this liberation or this major transformation where you feel complete with it. There's something resisting here. I'm going to clarify on that, and then I'm going to pull a couple cards in this. Yeah, I think it's the moon. So, excuse me. I think that there's things that are unknown right now that need to be revealed to you, or they're going to be revealed to you, even with yourself, with emotional stuff, like things that are coming up internally, that you, because you're on this journey, I think things are going to be coming up a little bit quicker because you're inviting it in a sense, or open to it. And there's some things that are coming up or will come up that you still need to work with. And I think that's why the Death card is in reverse here, which is not a bad thing. I'm just sensing it as a little bit of resistance to the change because things are still happening for you. So I still think that you're in the middle of this transformation period, and that's why it's not complete, honestly. There's just still things coming up that you need to work with. And it invites you to maybe really focus on that, those emotions coming up, because I think they will reveal things that you didn't expect to be revealed. Maybe to the point where like you thought there was a way, this way was this way, and then emotions come up and you actually sit with it and you're looking at all sides to the situation and you realize like, wow, it wasn't just that for me. It was all of these components, all of these people had their own experiences. It wasn't just about me. And really looking at the bigger picture of that to realize that it's not so personal, that it was just an experience that we really take in hard. Because I mean, I think every human does that to an extent, but it's a matter of looking at it like as an observer and realizing that we took it in with the tools that we had at the time, but maybe you've grown since then and you realize like stepping back and looking at it, it wasn't as dramatic or as deeply seated as it was in the past, you know. So maybe now looking at it in a different way will help you heal from it, because when we're going through something, I do think that at that moment it's like devastating and it's like the worst thing ever, and you don't see the bigger picture because you're hurt, you know. And it makes sense, you're protecting yourself and you're feeling vulnerable and you kind of shut down and go inward about that situation from your perspective. But like I said, excuse me, this is all about perspective and looking at everyone's perspective, not just your own. So that's what this is inviting you to do. Looking at all perspectives and not just your own, and seeing the bigger picture as an observer and not taking it so personal so you can release it. I think that's a big one, honestly. So I'm going to clear one more. I'm going to take that. Self-reflection, please. The Sun. I really think that you doing some inner work and really looking at yourself and filtering out the thing, like going in your closet and cleaning house with emotions, you're on the right direction. It's bringing you to the direction where you need to be. And you have the Sun card. Like, there's so much healing coming from this. There's so much growth coming from this that it's really going to transform your life, hands down. I mean, anytime we do this kind of work, it transforms our lives for the better. You have two Sun cards here. You know, I just think there's a great light at the end of the tunnel. It's a lot of happiness for you, but you just got to do some of the work. Really beautiful cards there. I'm going to do one more. This is emotions. The Star. Blessings, inspiration, time to shine. And the Star card is all about long-term goals and plans. So I do think that doing a lot of this work is for your future and for years to come. Like, this is not just like I'm going to deal with this now and it's going to be short-lived. Like, this is going to change your life, I feel, for the long haul. And to really sit with it and do some of the work, because it's going to be a beautiful outcome. I really think this is a beautiful reading. It's a little heavy because you have to do some work, but it's such a great outcome, and it's for the greater good, for your, like, a better life, a happier life, a freer life, and not so heavy, a lighter space to be in. So I think this is really beautiful. It just takes work and it's not easy. So and anyway, so how to move through this to move towards the outcome here. You have attraction in reverse, and you have sorry, I can't get this. You have the Four of Swords. I think that it's like, I think what's going to be needing here, I think it's like a deep-seated rest. I think you need to, so this is what I'm getting from this. I think that attracting what you really want, like asking, like writing a gratitude list, writing down the things that you're resisting, if anything, even if you're not resisting it, writing down the change, the things that you're coming up, you know, staying balanced between emotions and, intuition and your head space, and asking the universe for what you really want, or putting it out there, verbally understanding how to put it out there in the right way, and then just letting it be and resting. Like, it's going to do its magic without you working so hard. This is a lot of work. You're going to need the rest moving forward with this. It's just a bear sleeping, hibernating, because this is exhausting work. But I do think that this is saying, like, you're going to put all this stuff out in the universe on how you want to manifest it and what you really want. And then you're just going to let it sit and grow while you're resting and taking a break. Because this is hard, like heaviness that needs to be released here. So I think that's just a really beautiful way to look, you're going to be exhausted and you're going to like have the time to really chill and just know that the universe has your back. And that once you set these things in motion, it's all about waiting. It's not about working really hard to manifest it. It's the hard work is getting to the space to manifest it. The rest is just sitting and waiting, doing the work, of course. But I'm saying, like, it doesn't have to be that hard. You don't have to do it alone. Asking the universe for help. The Vision card came out. I do think that you're navigating yourself in the right direction. She has a compass and she's like a warrior, and she kind of stands on, it could be male, female. It could be gender neutral. She has painted nails, but it doesn't mean anything. But just being like navigating your life in the right way. You're on the right path. You're really headed in the right direction. And even the Star card kind of makes me feel that way in this deck. Like navigating or directions. I don't know why it's kind of lit and you're kind of following the path towards the star. That's what this feels like to me. You're on the right path and your life force is just guiding you there. Unwillingly, you're just going. That's what I'm getting from that card. One more. It's a really beautiful month. A lot of work. A lot of transformation. A lot of newness. A lot of change. But I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to pull two. It's asking me to pull two. So joy, your inner child is here to play. And healing, allow light to enter. And this card came out. I'm going to show you. The moon came out while I was shuffling, and so did that card, healing card. So you got the moon card and you got the healing card. So this is a big time of healing and growth for you. And to me, she just is kind of floating and allowing the universe to do it at this point, because she's done the work, she's resting. It's the same card for me as like the Four of Feathers, the Four of Swords. She's just resting and allowing the universe to do it. And just having some fun, like during this resting time of all this work, have some fun. The summer's coming if you're in this part of the world. I just think that it's time to have a little bit of fun and see the lighter side of things after you've done this, to kind of balance out the energy, and kind of have it let it settle back into place as your new norm. I think it's a really beautiful place to be in. I'm going to pull another card. Simplicity. Absolutely. That's kind of what I'm feeling for here. Just keeping it simple, having some fun, letting the universe do its magic after you've already done the work to ask for what you want. I just think this is a really beautiful time for you. Like I said, there's some people that are still here this is current situation. So this might take a little bit. And to take it easy on yourself, you can have some fun in between all of this. And I also feel like there's you have some inspiration, or you're being an inspiration to somebody else in this process. Like people are watching you and like observing you, kind of like looking at flowers, I don't know why I got that, but I just feel like maybe you're getting your inspiration with spring coming, or with like art or something like that. it's making you feel lighter, or that maybe that's what you could, like, I invite you to do to make things a little lighter, like appreciate colors and music and art and flowers and the outdoors, and get your inspiration from there. But also know that I feel like it's on both ends. Like, I feel like you are inspiring other people to do the same because of the shifting that you've done. And just to remember that, like, people are watching you and what you're doing because they need it for themselves too. So it's not only for you, it's like a butterfly effect. And even the butterfly came out in this, actually, the travel card. I do feel like it's the butterfly effect in a sense, like as you grow, you're flapping your wings and it's expanding outward. That wind is expanding outward. So I do think, like, what you do, people are going to start to catch on and feel good about it. In one way or another, some aspect of this is going to touch somebody else to do some of their work. I do see union again. So for some of you, it's in the moon on the bottom of the deck. So there are things that need to be seen right now. The subconscious, like, really doing some work there, and just realizing maybe that's why things aren't in a transformation period as fast as they should be in your eyes, because things need to be coming to the surface first before you can do that. But the voice is, I've already said this in the beginning, it's like in the communication before I choked. The voice is about hearing yourself speak, other people hearing you speak and the words that you speak, and also hearing other people speak and really listening. Like, really, really listening, not just being like waiting for yourself to talk like most of us do, unfortunately. I mean, sometimes we have active listening, but then we're always like waiting for our turn. So we're not really listening. So this is inviting you during this time of rest and like little light, like simplicity, to really listen to other people's perspectives. Other people's words, other people's ways. And union is all about you reuniting with yourself. Excuse me. Here we go with talking again. I literally said communication, and here I'm choking. So there is something to that, and I 100% believe in that because it always happens in that position. So I'm going to honor that as something that needs to be said, maybe, or something needs to be focused on in the way that you deliver what you need to say, or what you're hearing people say. Union can be with yourself, like the Lover's card in the beginning. It could be you with yourself, or it could be with another person. This could be a love relationship that you need to navigate through. I don't always do love readings, but if it comes out, I'm kind of feeling pulled to that for some of you, that this whole entire reading has to do with your actual love relationship, and you're trying to navigate through that. And maybe these are some of the things that will bring you to the end result of having a really strong relationship. But it doesn't matter whether it's with yourself or with someone else. It's still happening, about, being in love, falling in love with yourself again, and like knowing who you truly are, coming back to yourself, because that's what falling in love with yourself is all about. It's like you already know who you are, it's just coming back to yourself or the person that you love. And I think that could absolutely be this case. I think that can absolutely be either one. So I'm going to pull a self-care card and send you on your way. I hope this resonated with you a little bit. If it did, can you please, I'm asking if you can please like and subscribe, because I would really like to grow this channel, and you need those things to grow your channel on YouTube. So if I resonate with you, that would be greatly appreciated. And let's see what you got here. Connect with the earth and nourish your temple. That could be hand in hand. I'll show you this in a second. Energy work. I think that would be really good for you, actually. Reiki, or just connecting with the earth, like laying outside, putting your feet in the dirt, going to the beach, spending time with friends. I just ruined one of my cards. And spending time with your friends. Again, you got two cards, one ruined, one not. And your intuition on the bottom of the deck. So I do think definitely connecting with your intuition, if you haven't already, you're kind of doing that. I think that's really going to guide you here. And then spending time with friends is key. Really listening to what they have to say, but being discerning, like not everybody's right. Take what you need for the learning or the lesson in it and leave it, but just just being with friends and really connecting that way. Connecting with the earth, really, really important during this time, especially when you're transformation and you're growing a lot. And things are shedding and lots of change. It's really good to connect with the earth energy, because we give the earth what it needs and she gives us what we need. So it's really important to do that. And energy work, maybe doing some chakra healing, or, sound healing, tuning forks, using some crystals. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the reading. It was a little heavier than last month, I think, but I think that's because you're doing the work and you're ready for this layer of the onion to peel off. But this is for your April reading. I hope April goes according to plan and your own plan. Of course, you can shift this energy at any time. You're in control of it. So anyway, Pisces, it was a pleasure, and I will see you next month.